I had this moment where I realized that I had terrible money issues. Terrible. And I'm going to go through that now. I joined a mastermind many years ago, which was a fantastic mastermind, and they used to run quarterly events. So every quarter we would meet up in different parts of the country and like get together and like they were really awesome events, honestly. Really great business events. However, the way I used to approach them was a little bit messed up. So when, let's say, there was an event in Sydney, which this one was, I would literally spend hours trying to find the cheapest flights and the cheapest hotel room. I was literally such a tight ass that I would never even stay at the hotel the event was at. So at this particular event, I actually, instead of getting a hotel, found a friend that I wanted to catch up with. Not really, right? But I'd contacted them to see if I could basically sleep on a couch or in a spare room so that I could go to this event. So let's just unpack that a little bit first.
It's already starting off good, Charlie.
Well, I want to be clear on this. I'll bet you there's someone listening right now that recently traveled and they looked for cheap flights.
Totally.
They were like, where's the cheapest accommodation? And they sit there and they try and go, well, I'm willing to spend this much, and they try and find it, not realizing this is money mindset. This is the money mindset stuff. Like for someone else, they just pick the flight. They just fly Qantas. They just like whatever it is. They don't spend the time in this phase of trying to do it cheap.
Yep.
And that's what I was doing. Right. And what's really poor form and even think about here is like, can we just look at that? I literally contacted someone that I didn't want to see or spend time with and used them for free accommodation.
Yes.
What a mindset. Wow.
I guess it helped with networking. Like you had to try your salesmanship. Maybe.
All right. So I get to this event eventually, and cheaply, by the way.
Very cheaply by the sounds of it.
Yeah. So I'm like, wow. And again, this is I think I'm killing it. I found a way to get to this event cheap, stay for free, utilize the hotel facilities while I'm there, and get home. I'm like, winning. Not winning.
Some red eye flights here and there. Just like, yep, go in early, in out late.
All of that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm making use of the free food at the event and just drinking when I go out for dinner.
Take the doggy bag.
I won't go that far, but it's like you're getting the point of like, how I'm approaching this thing. But this is the part that really affected me. Everyone else at this particular time when I stayed at this event, right? So when I was at this mastermind, I didn't stay at that one. But it's like when I was at this mastermind, what ultimately got me was people would ask, oh, are you staying at the hotel? And then what I would do is go, oh, look, I really wanted to catch up with a friend in Sydney, so I'm actually staying at their place.
You had the excuse.
Yeah. So do you know what got me? I would lie.
Yeah.
I'm literally lying to people at this event, saying to them that I wanted to catch up with this friend when I didn't. I wanted to be at the hotel with that. And after doing it, like, because there was probably about 20 people at this mastermind, upon reflection, maybe a little bit more, to be honest. But upon having to tell that lie like 10 times, I'm like, I'm a fucking liar. And I considered myself an ethical person.
I'm impressed you realized that. It would have been so easy to gloss over that and just convinced yourself that you wanted to see the friend.
We'll definitely be going more deeply into people that do that today, right? Because it's easy to convince yourself in that thing, but I suspect it was because I had to say it so many times.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's because it was like so repeatable and it was like building up. Like if it was just once, it probably wouldn't have hit home in the same way.
Totally.
So the event was fantastic. The realization hits me that, Charlie, you actually missed out on networking opportunities because you had to do all this travel to your friend's place there and back. You didn't get an ROI on this event.
Yeah.
If you spent 1 extra hour at the facility with all the other business owners or had breakfast with someone at the hotel instead of being traveling, you would have got a much better result. But instead, your money mindset here and your beliefs around money, you were worse off and a liar.
Mm.
So I'm like, I will admit here, on the plane ride home, I was beating the shit out of myself, right, mentally and everything like that, having this realization. And it was a moment where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you honestly think that if you keep doing like this is going to get you to the success you want in life? Like, is this what the guys that are killing it are doing? Because sure enough, like the other business owners at this event that are doing well, notably, we might have some other closet people like myself with money issues, but they stayed at the hotel.
Had
They got nice flights.
Yeah.
They won it in a different way. And it led out this huge exploratory journey for me. Like that was the inflection point. Like that was the moment where I go, where did this come from?
Man, I'm pausing to absorb that because here you go, a story very similar to that. So someone that we knew ran an event in the Philippines. Actually, no, screw it, I'll say his name, Chris Ducker. It was awesome. So
All right, we're bringing him in.
we're bringing him in. So Chris Ducker ran this killer event called Tropical Think Tank in the Philippines. And I got no idea if I could share this or not, so I'm sharing it anyway. I lived in the same city that this event was at. So people were flying across the world to go, and it was like Lewis Howes was there and John Lee Dumas and stuff like that. And it was like, I can't remember, it was like $5,000 a ticket. Dude, I helped Chris Ducker out with a whole heap of things in his business. Like I helped him build some marketing materials and websites and stuff in exchange for a free ticket to go.
Oh, I feel like we're going to need to unpack this at some point on this episode, Grant.
Yeah, I did. And then it was just coincidentally that it was like around the corner from my apartment. And so then like I didn't stay there the first night. I think I stayed there like 2 or 3 nights out of like the 5 or something. And so I'm like, oh yeah, great. So I could completely concur with what you're saying because I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go and spend my time to go and make up instead of buying the ticket. So I did all these things for him, which it just would have been easy for me to pay the ticket. It'd take me less time just to pay for the ticket than do the stuff, just because I'm like, would I get a return on this?
It doesn't make logical sense, right?
No,
the logic doesn't sit there. So if and just bringing it back to that example, right? I suspect you were making good money at this time. You could have just spent the time elsewhere and probably made the money to buy a ticket in equivalence. But yet you did that because of money mindset. You brought in a belief about money from some sort of past experience to get value in the way you see fit.
Yep.
Now, this works for and against us in a whole bunch of ways. Like people bring forth good money experiences as well and they do it again. So again, like someone might get a really good win in buying an investment property. I say might, not financial advice. Not everyone makes money in property, rah, rah, rah. But it's like if someone has that experience of getting a good financial result by investing in property, what do?
More.
Do it again.
Yep.
Like that's
Repeat.
Like exactly. And like this is fundamentally affecting us in a way. Can I dig deeper?
All right, let's do it. Dig deeper.
All right. So I get home from Sydney. I'm like just feeling shit about myself even further. Like I'm just like the punching bag like you would not believe didn't get better.
Yep.
Like I'm laying awake at night. I'm looking at and I eventually come to this conclusion. I don't even know how. It's like you're not that special. There's someone out there that's had money issues and gotten over it. Find them, pay them, work it out. Because it's very apparent that if you keep dragging these money issues into the rest of the things you're doing in business, this isn't going to work.
Yep.
This isn't going to work. So and we'll cover this later on what exactly went down with the money stuff that I worked on, which helped me immensely today. But the big discovery for me in this was that it was all the money experiences I had growing up that brought it into here. Now, I have told this story on the podcast before, but I'll tell it again. Like my father had a workplace accident when I was in about grade 6. And because of that, he ended up losing his business and ultimately filing for bankruptcy. And ultimately, it was the reason my parents got divorced. Right. So what a moment, right? Absolutely destroyed the house.
Yeah.
So my experience with money around, going through a bankruptcy here, money being scarce, like I've seen real money shit. A lot of people haven't. But I took that experience of my youth of growing up with those types of beliefs, and then I was running my business using that set of beliefs.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.